You're entering The Zone, ABC4's Red Zone.
For the second time this season, the University of Utah Gymnastics squad is hosting the #1 ranked team in the country. The top-ranked Florida Gators have ascended to the top of the college gymnastics world, and they'll try to hold on to that spot tonight here at the Huntsman Center. Meanwhile, the 5th-ranked Red Rocks will try to prove they are underrated. It's senior night, and Utah fans will say goodbye to 3 seniors. It's going to be an emotional night featuring some of the best gymnasts in the country. It's #1 Florida versus #5 Utah, and it's coming up next. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Huntsman Center. Site of tonight's college gymnastics meet between #1 ranked Florida and #5 Utah. Wesley Ruff alongside Missy Marlowe. And Missy, this is the second time Utah's faced a #1 team here in this building this year.
This is going to be a fantastic competition. Florida is on fire, and of course Utah, there's nothing like senior night in any sporting event. This is going to be an emotional night for the Utes.
Florida is the #1 ranked team in the country. They are #1 ranked in every single discipline, every event.
Yep.
They are a really good team.
They are a really good team. They have All-Americans all over the place. They've recruited out the club gymnastics. It's a virtual who's who around the country of club gymnastics, so they are here to do business tonight.
Utah has a very ambitious schedule. As I mentioned, this is the second time they faced the #1 team in the country. Earlier it was UCLA. Tonight it's the University of Florida.
I think that it's important for them to know what we're up against, because what we can do then is next week we can come into the gym, and over the next 4 or 5, 6 weeks left, we can try to continue to work on the things that maybe we aren't doing good enough.
We just really try not to dwell on the other team. We try and just focus on ourselves and stay in our little Utah bubble, and we just do what we can do, and that's all we can do. And so we try not to focus on Florida, but focus on what we've been practicing and just focus on our team.
When you take on the #1 team in the country, you would like to have all your weapons, but Utah comes in a little banged up. They've got some injuries tonight. Of course, Kendall Roberts, the senior, is not going to participate tonight. Corey Lothrop, the outstanding freshman, will not be going tonight. Utah is down a little bit.
Yeah, this is not a competition to be shorthanded, but what can you do? The Utes have spent all season competing up to 5 freshmen per lineup. So far, so good. They've been fantastic, but will it be enough for Florida? I don't know.
And you mentioned it's senior night. They'll say goodbye to Kendall Roberts, Gail Mackey, and Jacqueline Johnson. And Mackey and Johnson both competed the all-around last week up in Logan against Utah State.
And they're going to have to be on their A game. I think they will. Senior night is always so emotional, but boy, the adrenaline's flowing. There's nothing like that to help your vaulting and tumbling go right through the ceiling.
The fans will be saying goodbye to 3 outstanding seniors here, but there's plenty of season left for the University of Utah. They're ranked #5. Florida's ranked #1. Utah's going to try to prove that they might be underrated during this season so far. College gymnastics is coming up next. It's Utah versus Florida. Welcome back to the Huntsman Center, everyone. It's Utah versus Florida in college gymnastics. And Missy Marlowe, this is going to be a great meet here tonight because Florida is a really good team.
And they're a really good team, ranked #1 in the country on every single event. The Utes are good too. This is going to be fun. It always helps to have a little bit of that hometown adrenaline on everything but balance beam.
It's interesting because Utah was at practice yesterday, and Utah said that they have been ready for Florida. They've been taking precautions and getting ready for this meet all week long.
We're ready for Florida. We've done little fun things, like we have little alligators all over the gym. And so we've tried to make this week fun with that kind of stuff and get the whole team pumped up.
Yeah, when we were at practice yesterday, they had some gators hanging from the balance beams.
Nice.
They were hanging. They're ready.
They're
ready for this. It's going to be interesting, though. Utah's got some people hurt, so it'll be...
Well, having Corey Lothrop out's a bit of a problem, yeah, but she'll be back. It's not a sprain or anything like that. It's some bone fragments, so they're not quite sure where they've gone. They've lodged in her ankle a little bit. Something that can be cleaned out. They're hoping it'll be fixed in the next week.
Utah will start on the vault. Florida will begin on the bars, and we will begin the competition right now. Leah Del Priori will start things off for the University of Utah on the vault here tonight.
First up on bars for Florida, Nicole Ellis.
Nicole Ellis ready to start on the bars for Florida.
You know, Florida in warm-ups were just amazing. Every handstand was completely, totally perfect. Elbows completely locked out. You know, from the very basics on, every person through the lineup. And so far, this first routine up is just great. Dismount sequence here, 2 giants to a double layout and a solid landing.
Wow, what a way to start a meet. Impressive routine by Nicole Ellis. Mary Beth Loughran ready to go on the vault for the University of Utah now. Freshman from Salt Lake City.
Mary Beth's doing a layout Yurchenko full. Puts the round off onto the board, back handspring onto the horse. Layout with a full twist. The judges want to see great elbows and a high block. She did a good job of holding onto the landing. She was just a little bit piked in the air on the twist. See the pike down, a good solid landing.
Next up on bars for Florida, Ajane Dickerson.
Ajane Dickerson ready to go for Florida. She's a 2-time All-American, Missy.
She has a career best of 9.9. Scored once this season on bars. And check out this release.
Oh my goodness.
Kind of catches you by surprise if you're not ready for it, doesn't it?
That did.
And you know what really stands out to me is not only how high that was and how perfectly executed, but the straight elbows and the exactness, the preciseness of her handstand positions, just simply not giving the judges a deduction and a large step back on the double layout. Otherwise, a perfect routine other than that step.
Senior Jacqueline Johnson ready to go on the vault for the University of Utah here on senior night.
There's the round off back handspring, layout full, and again, a little bit of a hop and just a little bit of a pike in the air. The Utes need to try to get a really strong block through their shoulders, be completely extended against the horse, and hold the layout position through the twist.
Next up on bars for Florida, Elizabeth Mallett.
Elizabeth Malik set to go on the bars, the third competitor for the Gators.
There's a Stalder circle, a little bit of an unusual circle to a Tkachev. Or a reverse hacked, perfect handstand position. The gymnast must move back and forth between the bars at least twice during the routine. Another double layout and a solid landing. Boy, the judges are going to have to look for deductions on that routine.
We are halfway through the first rotation, and we are off to a good start here tonight between the University of Florida and the University of Utah. We'll come back with the second half of the first rotation right after this. Welcome back to the Huntsman Center, everyone. It's Florida versus the University of Utah. Nancy Damianova on the vault for the Utes.
Round off back handspring, layout full. And that was the best vault we've seen from Utah so far. She let the vault rise and travel and rotate over the top before twisting, and because of that, she was able to hold a layout position nice and stretched through the air, and then hollowed down just a little bit more than she needed to, resulting in the hop backwards.
Kind of been Utah's bugaboo all year long. Just those little minor hops on landings. Mackenzie Caquato now on the bars for Florida, and she's one of the top gymnasts on this very good Florida team.
Mackenzie is actually one of the top gymnasts in the world, having competed at the last World Championships for the United States. There's the dismount sequence of Tkachev, the second big release move. And a half in, half out to a perfect landing. That's a full twisting double back.
The Gators came to play. They are ready to go.
Stephanie McAllister.
Junior Stephanie McAllister on the vault now for Utah. She's enjoying an outstanding season so far.
There's There's the round off back handspring, layout full, and again, quite a large hop backwards. You know, their vaults are very powerful. They can easily perform these vaults. They just need to hold the stretch position a touch longer and a touch straighter, and they won't be over-rotating to that one step.
Next up on bars for Florida, Elena Johnson.
Elena Johnson set to go for Florida now. They've put up some great scores so far on the bars.
So a freshman from Tyler, Texas. There's another clear hip to Tkachev. Stalled her circle right to the handstand.
And for a freshman to be in the fifth position on this team,
that says a lot.
She's got to be good.
Her club bar coaches should be quite proud. Giant, double layout, and a small hop on the dismount.
Senior Gail Mackey set to wrap things up for Utah on the vault. An emotional night for all the seniors here.
Round up back handspring, layout full, and good. Just a half of a step with 1 foot. A really great vault.
It looked like she almost shorted that thing, but she held it.
There's the stretch position, the block, spotting the landing.
Nicely done by Gail Mackey. And Marissa King now the final competitor on the bars for the Gators.
Marissa's from Cambridge, England. She's a 4-time All-American. There's a toe-on, toe-off.
Just a sophomore.
To a shoot half. Perfect handstand position. Line half to a move called a Veronin. That's a front hecht over the bar with a half turn. Just the slightest overarch on that. And an Arabian double front, really difficult. A large step on the landing on that one, though.
Looked like she almost caught her feet on the lower bar as she went around, which I think threw her off on her landing. All right, that's going to wrap up the first rotation for the night. Utah will move to the bars. Florida will advance to the vault, and we will have the second rotation coming up right after this. Welcome back to the Huntsman Center, everyone. It's Utah versus Florida in college gymnastics. And I'll tell you, Missy Marlowe, Florida is everything they were advertised to be.
Yeah, they were fantastic. Their basics are just perfect. Their handstand positions are completely straight. They hit everything right on top of the bar, just like you're supposed to. Now, they just didn't give the judges anything to deduct on, maybe a step on a landing, and that was about it.
Florida has the lead, but Utah scored over 49 on the vault.
Yeah, they did just fine. I'd still like to see Utah get a little more explosion through their blocks off the horse, be able to stay a little bit straighter and a little bit more stretched before they land. That'll take not only the deductions in the body positions, but also some of the hops out.
And you might be able to excuse some of Utah's faults on the vault, because we talked about what an emotional night this is, being senior night for the University of Utah.
It's always an emotional evening. It is hard to say goodbye to these girls. Thankfully for us, it's not exactly goodbye for good. For them, it is goodbye to those thousands and thousands of fans, and that makes it very emotional, because I think for these athletes, that's one of the most special parts of their career.
Dolly Lemazon set to go on the vault for the Florida Gators. They're ranked number 1 in the country in this event as well.
And a very similar vault to what we just saw. A little bit of too much of a hollow down in the air, and just a clean but 1/10 deduction on the landing.
First up on bars.
Freshman Haley Hansen set to go on the bars for the Red Rocks.
Haley's coming off a sore back that she rested last weekend. She has a career high of 9.75. Another local product out of USA Gymnastics World in Bountiful. There was a packed salto. So far, a really great routine. Remember, the gymnasts get their start values at a 9.5 and work their way up to a 10.0. And a half in, half out, and just a little bit heavy on the landing and a step backwards.
Haley Hansen, freshman, and a nice routine. Nicole Ellis on the vault now for the Gators.
Here's a Yurchenko full. Oh, and that's our first step forward that we've seen tonight. Again, it doesn't matter if you're forward or backwards. Generally, if the gymnast steps forwards, the vault was a little bit short, and there'll be other deductions as well.
Jacqueline Johnson now, the senior for the University of Utah. Back in the all-around after concussion earlier this year.
And a career best for Jacqueline of 9.85. There's a piked Jaeger. The gymnasts get their bonus points for both the individual difficulty of the skills themselves and for the combinations of skills. Not being broken up by extra kips or cast handstands or extra giants. There's a blind full to immediate tuck double back.
Wow.
And a good solid routine. And that will be a good routine for her to remember for her final senior performance here.
A nice way to go out on senior night for Jacqueline Johnson, who was very excited to be back in the all-around last week up in Logan against Utah State.
Next up on vault for Florida, Miranda Smith.
Miranda Smith now for the Florida Gators.
Round up back handspring, layout fold. And when we see this in replay, you are going to see the stretch that I have sounded like a broken record talking about all season long. She really holds the open position. And that is important to the judges.
Nancy Damianova.
Nancy Damianova now for the Utes.
Another Canadian Olympian performing for Utah. There's a toe on, toe off, head to high bar. Immediate shoot half to immediate Stalder shoots to high bar. Line half. Tuck double front. Oh, and just the step backwards, a good routine.
Nancy Damianova here.
Let's see her double front. She actually pulled into the bar just a hair on the let go.
All right, we're halfway through the second rotation. We'll take a break and be back with more of this college gymnastics meet right after this. Welcome back to the Huntsman Center, everyone. It's Florida and Utah in college gymnastics. Ajane Dickerson on the vault for the Florida Gators. And oh boy, Missy,
that was
just
pretty
look impressive.
textbook. I'm trying to think of some critiques here, and I really don't have any. Super explosive off the horse, completely stretched, and just, I mean, all the time in the world to spot that landing and come down and wait for the floor.
Where did Florida come up with all these great gymnasts?
Now there's, I just give all the credit in the world to Rhonda Fain. She goes back all the way to 1987 with Greg Marsden when she was on our World Championships team. Greg was the head coach. Rhonda was the highest finisher out of our American team at that World Championships.
This is Courtney Beers on the bars now for Utah.
9.9 career best, and they're going to want to see that tonight.
So Rhonda was on the team with you?
Yes, we competed for 2 years together. She was first alternate to the 1988 Olympic team. A lot of contention going on in USA Gymnastics in the late 80s between Bella Caroli and the former Olympic coach. They brought Greg in for 1 year to try to neutralize some of that. A fantastic routine.
Great
for
job by Courtney Beers.
There is a double layout to a perfect landing. Stretched and
wow, that was impressive.
Amazing.
Elena Johnson now on the vault for the Gators.
Collegiate best of 9.95 on this vault. Round up back handspring.
Great height.
And that was
wow.
Probably the best vault we've seen tonight. She didn't hold the stretch quite as well as the previous vaulter, but she certainly had more height than any vault we've seen yet.
Stephanie McAllister.
fifth competitor on the bars for the Red Rocks is Stephanie McAllister, a junior, who, as we mentioned, is just having an outstanding year, quickly becoming a fan favorite.
There's a Weiler kip, a very unusual move to a beautiful handstand
Impressive
position.
handstand there.
The Utes knowing they have to step it up a notch to contend with number 1 Florida. And a half in, half out.
Wow.
And one great vault answered by one great bar routine.
This is some kind of meet tonight here.
There's the full twisting, double back, slight slide with the feet, but really not a step. It won't be a deduction.
Marissa King set to wrap things up for the Gators on the vault.
And this is the most difficult vault we'll see tonight. It's a half on. It's not the round off entry. It's a half on to a full and a half twist. And she was just slightly under-rotated, but, you know, she really didn't step. We'll see what the judges do with that landing.
That was explosive.
Well, you know, it's interesting. The reason that Yurchenko vaults are so popular is because the power comes from the legs off the board, the glutes and the quads. A half-on vault is all off the arms.
Gail Mackey, the final competitor for the Utes on the bars. Senior night here at the Huntsman Center.
There's an eagle grip to Pike Jaeger. Very difficult position to hit. Strong shoot half. Two giant swings to a double layout and another fantastic landing.
Great routine by Gail
A few
Mackey.
little steps here and there on the vaults, but boy, did they come back on bars and make it tough on the judges. Double layout, solid.
Fans are getting their money's worth here tonight. It's Florida, ranked number 1 in the country, Utah, ranked number 5, and we are seeing college gymnastics at its best. We'll total up the scores and be back right after this.
You're entering The Zone, ABC4's Red Zone.
Senior night's always fun because we do little traditions that make it more exciting. Like the juniors always decorate the locker room for the seniors and stuff like that. So Courtney and I are working on that right now, and stuff like that makes it fun for the whole team.
We are at the halfway point of this collegiate gymnastics meet between the University of Florida and the University of Utah, and the Gators, Missy, lead this meet 98.675 to 98.425. And both teams have been impressive so far.
They have been really impressive. You know, we do have to mention Florida did lose to Arkansas last Friday, so they're not, they're not perfect. They had some low landings and they had a couple falls on beams, so it could happen. What you always want is both teams to be at their best. Does not sound hokey, but it's so true. You want them both to be at their best. You still want to come out on top. So we've talked a lot about Florida, the fact that they lead the nation in every single event, but they're human after all, and we've got 2 great events coming up, and it's 2 tenths.
And if they make any mistakes along the way, Utah is doing so well tonight, they could crack through and
yeah, that was the best bar set they've done all year.
It was very impressive. Utah's got a lot of people hurt. We talked about that in the introduction, but a lot of people throughout the year have been able to step up, as Coach Megan Marsden talked about.
The people that are getting thrown into the line of fire are stepping up, and we aren't losing a lot of tenths of a point. That's good for coaches to know that we've got some, kids that are waiting in the wings that are almost as good as the ones we've chosen to put in first.
Utah begins this third rotation on the beam, and Fumina Kobayashi set to go. An athlete that you're familiar with, Missy.
I've known Femina since she was 8 years old. Olympus in gymnastics, where I work, currently has her younger sister, level 10 there. There's a beautiful sheep jump, straddle jump. And Femina has always been fantastic on balance beam. Their tumbling series, back handspring, step out, layout, step out. It is required to do a combination tumbling series. and a front or a side skill. There's her front aerial. She's moving smoothly. Everything is clean. Remember, deductions for wobbles range anywhere from a 1/2 tenth up to 2 or 3 tenths. The routine is a minimum of 1:10 and a maximum of 1:30 and a round off double full, and that's a start that Utah needs.
Good start on the beam for Utah.
Super solid routine, no problems, and a stuck dismount. Round off double twist, excellent form, and a great start.
Amy Ferguson.
Amy Ferguson, a floor specialist for Florida, set to go now for the Gators.
Amy's a junior from LaFleur's, very well-known club in Tampa, Florida. This year so far, she scored a 9.85 3 different times, and there's a front double twist for her opening run.
She's originally from Canada, Halifax, and her favorite hockey team is the Toronto Maple Leafs. Woohoo!
Full and a half twist, a front layout. Anytime a gymnast does a leap, it must be a complete 180-degree split. Anytime it's a turning leap or jump, it has to be all the way around at 360. If it's under turned or under split, it's a deduction. Floor routines are the same length as beam, 1:10 to 1:30. And a clean double pike last pass.
Amy Ferguson on the floor for Florida.
Next up on beam for Utah, Jacqueline Johnson.
Jacqueline Johnson set to go now on the beam for the Utes.
Jack has only competed balance beam once this year. It was on February 25th against Utah State. She scored a 9.75. There's a wool full. She needs just a little bit higher leg, a little bit more pointed toes. That handspring step out, layout step out. Excellent.
When she was first coming back from that concussion, she was in 1 or 2 events, and Coach Marsden said it would be tough to keep her out of the lineup, and the last 2 weeks she's gone all around. They can't keep her out of the lineup. She has done extremely well.
She came in, and she completely missed her first foot. Oh, that stings. That's where only in competition do you jump right back up and keep going. You do not want to crawl off the mat. She came in, as I was saying, in the top condition of any gymnast on the Utah team in their preseason strength testing. Round off, double twist, solid landing. Trying to brush off that fall. Boy, it really stings when you hit your leg that hard on the beam. Here's the dismount, round off, double twist, half a step.
Next up on floor for Florida, Randy Staggerberg.
Randy Stagberg now on the floor for the Gators. First time we've seen her this evening.
Opening tumbling run, round back handspring, hiked full and extremely difficult first pass. Middle tumbling run. Front layout, front layout.
And it's interesting to see that the balance of power has shifted in the SEC from Georgia and Alabama, LSU, to now Florida and even Arkansas.
Well, like I said, Rhonda's just done an amazing job. She spent quite a bit of time as assistant coach at Nebraska, learned the ropes, paid her dues, and came to Florida ready to take them on. She said she saw a ton of untapped potential and knew she could do the job, and boy, has she. And off back handspring, pike double back.
Randy Stagenberg.
Excellent
Next up
finish.
on beam for Utah, Stephanie McAllister.
Stephanie McAllister ready to go on the beam.
And now there's some real pressure after Jacqueline Johnson's fall on her side summy.
Coach Megan Marston spending a little extra time with Stephanie just before the routine started.
Career best of 9.85. Back handspring, step out, back handspring, step out, layout, step out, and just the slightest balance check on the landing. Straddle jump, straddle quarter turn, and again, just another half a tenth. Setting up for the dismount. Round off, double twist, and a solid landing. So just a few little balance checks, no visible form breaks. That'll be a great score. There's the dismount.
Next up on floor,
Small slide backwards.
Miranda Smith.
Miranda Smith now on the floor for the Gators. They have no weaknesses. They're just so solid in every single discipline, top to bottom.
Round off back handspring and another piked full in, and boy, they just don't have any trouble with those difficult first passes.
You can see the confidence in their face too. They know they're good.
The Florida Gator clap. It's in every routine. Full and a half twist to front layout. Breath before the final tumbling run. Round off back handspring, another pike double back. She just landed standing completely straight up and down.
A great routine.
That was a great routine, and you know what? That was a difficult routine.
By Miranda Smith there.
Next up on beam for Utah.
We need to take a quick timeout. We'll come back with the second half of the third rotation right after this. All right, welcome back to the Huntsman Center, everyone. This is Courtney Beers on the beam for the University of Utah.
Front aerial, that's a front walkover with no hands.
Utah trailing in this meet so far to Florida. Cannot afford any more mistakes on the beam.
Back handspring, layout, step out. Split jump, double stack. About a 1/10 balance check at the landing on that jump. Required full turn. crowd responding to her Utah sign. There's a side aerial. That's an aerial, or a cartwheel without hands. Side scale. Cartwheel swing through full twist.
Nicely done by
Solid landing.
Courtney
Now she
Beers.
has such a flexible back. It makes my shoulders hurt when she lands
and
her.
bends over.
Oh, cartwheel, beautiful swing through full.
Next up on floor for Florida, Elena Johnson.
Elena Johnson set to go on the floor. She's currently leading the all-around. Scored a 9.9 on the vault, 9.925 on the bars.
She was recruited by Alabama, Georgia, Utah, Michigan, LSU, and Oklahoma. A double Arabian, and that's why they wanted her. That was sky high. She was literally waiting for the ground.
Just a freshman. Already one of the leaders on this #1 ranked Florida Gator team.
Another full and a half twist to front layout. Switch ring to Turgite full. Beautiful leaps. Those were completely oversplit. Showing some exceptional flexibility.
June 13, 2008 was named Elena Johnson Day in Tyler, Texas after she earned a spot on the U.S. Olympic trials. Nice job. A day named after you in your hometown.
She's felt the love from all over, hasn't she? 9.925 is their highest floor score ever. Certainly showing a routine worthy of that score tonight. Oh, and then a step forward, a pretty big step forward on her double pike. Using the maps, it is not a deduction to use those maps as long as the corner is marked so the judges know if the gymnast goes out of bounds.
Next up on beam for Utah, Corey Lothrop.
Corey Lothrop set to go. She missed last week with an ankle injury, but set to go on the beam here tonight.
So this is a little bit of a late addition. She was experiencing ankle pains that they could not explain. Took some x-rays, discovered a few bone chips and a few bone spurs I think had just broken off and maybe become lodged in those little tiny bones in the ankle.
I can't imagine doing flips on the beam like that. Can make your ankle feel good.
You can see she's pretty heavily taped. Back handspring step out, layout step out. Trust me, during the routine you feel nothing. After the dismount, maybe.
Pain starts to
Not during.
kick in. Corey, one of the top freshmen in the entire country.
Scissor side. Corey obviously heavily recruited nationwide also. Round off, full and a half, and a solid routine.
Playing through the pain.
Round off, full and a half twist. Nice landing, and it's great to see Corey out there competing.
Ajane Dickerson now on the floor for the Gators. Also competing in the all-around for Florida.
Opening tumbling run. Round off back handspring, double Arabian. That's a half twist right off the floor into a double front. Pike, step out through to a round off tuck double back, and again. Now the thing that sets them apart is how tall they land on these difficult passes, just completely straight up and down. Typically the routine will slow down just a little bit, maybe 10 to 15 seconds before the third tumbling run.
Just to
give
catch
the
their
gymnast
breath.
a second to catch their breath. Third pass, pike double back. Oh, and a little bit of a stumble on the landing. She did not go out of bounds, but it wasn't completely solid.
Ajane Johnson on the floor for the Gators. Final competitor on the beam for Utah.
Next up on
is
beam
Mary Beth
for Utah,
Lofgren.
Mary Beth Lofgren.
Freshman who's had outstanding success here so far in her first year.
Very unusual for a freshman to earn the final spot on beam. There's a split full and just a little balance check there. Now that needed to be turned all the way around. Tumbling series, back handspring layout, step out. Her back leg needs to be straight. Excellent landing. Double stag jump. Mary Beth always looks so calm and so composed on her beam routine. There's a side aerial, again, just a little bit, about a half a tenth wobble.
Her parents still have the same season tickets, same seats they had when she was a little girl here watching the University of Utah.
Wow, and she barely managed to hang on that. Greg Marsden recruited her mother, who ultimately ended up choosing BYU. Cartwheel swing through full, and again, just really pike boy, she almost ran off the mat down there. Not a bad routine, but she knows that she had balance checks throughout. There's the cartwheel full,
Next up on floor
and a quick running salute.
Quick exit. Stage left. Marissa King, final competitor for the Gators, on the floor.
.975 is her career best this year. Round up back handspring, double layout. Oh my
boy,
word.
she held that. Almost stepped out of bounds.
You know, when a double layout's almost too easy for you, you know you're good.
She's from England. Says that the O2 Arena in London is one of her favorite venues.
She's a four-time All-American. Punch front step out, round up back handspring, duck, tuck, double back. Turgitate full to straddle full. There's bonus in that lead combination. You know, she just has some unbelievable legs. She's doing this difficult tumbling like it's nothing. Round off back handspring, pike double back. Oh, and a low landing. She's not going to get her career best tonight. You know, going from sea level to our mountains might be, they look a little bit tired, a few of them, on their last tumbling passes.
We're headed down the home stretch here tonight between Florida and the University of Utah. Utah will move to the floor. Florida to the beam. We'll have that coming up right after this. Down the home stretch here in this college gymnastics meet between Florida and Utah. The Gators lead this meet, missing 147.750 to 147.600. Very close meet so far.
10.5. Florida's on beam. Utah's on floor. Beam is where they lost it at the last meet. I seriously doubt that's going to happen again tonight, but I would certainly have to say that the advantage is to Utah in the events.
Any little small break by Florida, and Utah can jump right in and steal this meet.
Well, either team can. I mean, it's an upset if Utah wins of sorts, but you know they're on track to do that right now. At 10.5, anything can happen.
Fans would love to see an upset here tonight. 15,558, a new single meet attendance record for the University of Utah, and a lot of them, Missy, came here because it's senior night. They wanted to say goodbye to Gail Mackey, Kendall Robarts, and Jacqueline Johnson. And for Jacqueline Johnson, she said, performing here in front of the home meet for the last time, a little bittersweet.
College definitely goes so fast, but I don't know. I'm excited to be able to perform one last time, and I'm glad that my senior year has been my best year so far. So that's definitely encouraging for me, and it's going to be really sad, but we have the rest of the season still, so I'm excited.
All right, Elizabeth Mollick on the beam for Florida.
You know, they just announced the team scores. This competition is a 10th and a half apart, and the Utah gymnasts were excited. They did not know that it was that close. They feel like they can win this meet. So far, a fabulous routine from Elizabeth, completely solid.
It's odd because gymnastics is so different than football or basketball because you can't do anything. There's no defense to prevent another team to do anything. It's just you do your best and hope that it's better than the other team.
And a step on the dismount to an otherwise great start for Florida. My husband was talking about shoes one time and the importance of shoes. I said, I don't know the importance of shoes. And he thought that was so funny because I never thought about it. Your shoes don't matter. I said, no. I don't care if they're, you know, what difference does it make if you have cleats or your track shoes? I don't know.
Mary Beth Lofton ready to go on the floor for the Red Rocks.
He couldn't quite wrap his head around it, you know. There's no ball in those shoes. What in the world?
And no defense.
Unless you count the equipment, because I think Jacqueline Johnson's leg is feeling right now like there might be some defense from the equipment after missing on her beam routine there. Beautiful double pike first pass.
She does have that just calm demeanor, doesn't she?
She has, you know, she could actually be a little bit stronger with her arms and her hands. Sometimes they're just a hair limp, but she really has some maturity about her, especially for being a freshman. Sometimes she's a little bit loose with her back leg on her leaps and jumps. But Mary Beth has been just a delightful gymnast for these coaches this year. They've said over and over they didn't know if she'd jump in right off the bat, if it would take a year. And boy, have they been pleased.
Routine going well so far here on the floor. The Red Rocks know they need a big score here in their final event if they hope to pass the Florida Gators and pull off the upset.
Final tumbling run, front handspring, Rudy to layout step out. And a clean, solid floor routine to answer a clean, solid beam routine from the Gators.
A tribute there to Amy Trepanier. Nice routine. How about that tumbling pass?
Front handspring, Rudy, layout step out.
So smooth.
Next up on beam for Florida, Randy Stagerberg.
Randy Stagerberg now on the beam for Florida. She's coming off a 9.825 on the floor. Wow.
And a plant.
Wow.
That takes incredible shoulder strength. And we were saying during the break, Wes, this Florida team is incredibly well conditioned. They are so strong. When I walked into the arena when they were in their warm-up leotards, you know, they have spent the time in the gym and in the weight room.
We've seen UCLA. They were the #1 team in the country when they were here early in the season. Stanford, who was very impressive, knocked off Utah here. But this Florida team is for real. These girls are incredible gymnasts. Well deserving of their #1 national ranking. They have no weaknesses.
The required full turn. Back handspring step out, layout step out, full twist. A hop on the dismount. You know, it doesn't matter how hard your dismount is, a hop is a hop. But boy, does the gymnast have to be exactly on that layout step out, because it's so easy to have her foot slide going into the full twist.
Jacqueline Johnson up on the floor looking for a little redemption after her fall earlier.
saying before, a little emotional knowing this is your last performance ever in the Huntsman Center. Tuck double back. Round off full and a half twist and front layout.
As I mentioned, she's coming back from a concussion that she suffered earlier this year.
Sidelined her for a couple competitions. Final tumbling run. Round off back handspring, 2.5 twist, and a great routine. That should bring the crowd to its feet when this is over. To support Jacqueline in her final home meet before the postseason.
Johnson.
15,558 fans show their appreciation to the senior in her final home meet.
There's the opening run, a tuck double
Next
back.
up on beam for Florida, Elena Johnson.
Full and a half twist to front layout.
Elena Johnson now on the beam, still leading the all-around.
Back handspring step out, layout step out. .875 is her career high for balance beam. It's like cat leap to a front aerial, incredibly solid. Now what's amazing about her is on the landings, there's just no bending. Her hips are completely, totally straight. It's like she's completely weightless. Round off, full and a half twist. Large step to the side, really the only problem on the dismount.
Elena Johnson, great
Next up on
night
the floor
for
for
her.
Utah, Leah Del Priori.
Leah Del Priori set to go on the floor for Utah.
Her career best came against Michigan with a 9.85. The Utes could use that again tonight. Out of the Parkettes in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Again, tuck double back. Really clean tumbling, not quite the difficulty that we saw from Florida with their pike full ends and double layouts and double Arabians. But again, if the start value is a 10.0, that's what the judges deduct from. Pike double back, just a little bit of a low landing. Jeté full, straddle full, to wolf jump full.
Freshmen continuing to do great things for Utah this year. With the injuries that this team's gone through, freshmen have been called on to step up, and they have done well.
Final tumbling run. Full and a half twist to front layout, great landing.
Leah Del Priori.
All right, we're halfway through the final rotation here in the Huntsman Center. We'll be back with the final three competitors on each team right after this. Welcome back to the Huntsman Center, everyone. Mackenzie Caquato set to go on the beam for the Florida Gators.
Mackenzie is coached by the parents of former UCLA superstar Anna Lee and is currently back in training for next year's Olympics. Back handspring step out, layout step out. Considered one of the best gymnasts in the world at the elite level last year. An incredible combination. Not in terms of the difficulty, but just lots of flair.
How tough is it to go from the collegiate level to the Olympics? You rarely see that.
It is unusual, and especially to have someone go through college and then on. I mean, by the time a gymnast is 23, 24 years old, they've been training anywhere from 25 to 40 hours a week for 15, some of them 15 years by that point. Round off, double twist, oh, and a large step backwards. Beautiful routine. Other than the steps, we're seeing UCLA show that they're just a little bit human, or I'm sorry, Florida show that they're just a little bit human here tonight.
Nancy Damianova on the floor. We might see a little break here. Florida opening the door just a little bit. See if Utah can bust through and get the victory here tonight.
Inquiry scores are coming in from both teams to the meet referee on their scores.
When it meets this close, coaches want to make sure that they get every single
Fight for everything.
thousandth of a point they can possibly get.
Round off back handspring, tuck double back. Middle tumbling run, full and a half twist to front layout. Scissor side, straddle full.
It's interesting, you can see Kendall Robarts kneeling down in the corner, encouraging the rest of her teammates, and she would love to be out here. She's a senior.
You know, just so unfortunate.
Yeah.
She was the #1 ranked vaulter in the country before her knee injury. Obviously attempted to rehab it. Just doesn't look like it's going to be ready in time for postseason. Final tumbling run, round off back handspring, double pike, oh, and she went out of bounds. That's attempted action. So both teams giving away some tenths here and there that neither one can afford.
Tough break for Nancy Damianova.
There's the tuck double back first pass.
Next up on beam for Florida, Ajane Dickerson.
Janae Dickerson set to go on the beam.
One arm back handspring, layout step out, 1/10 of a balance check. Punch front, that's the first front somersault we've seen tonight. Switch leap to pike jump, a little bit under split on the switch leap. The performance of the dance, the quality of the dance is very important. Anytime a gymnast is on toe, they should be completely stretched, just like you'd expect from a dancer or a ballerina. No half toes and certainly no half pointed feet. The judges want to see that the gymnasts have had extensive dance training. Round off, double back, and a step on the dismount. You know, just a few deductions here and there throughout.
Seeing just those little steps.
Next up on floor for Utah.
Stephanie McAllister set to go on the floor for Utah as one of 2 juniors here. It's their job, Stephanie said this week, to make sure the seniors were ready for senior meet, decorate the lockers, and do some other fun stuff this week. And knowing Stephanie's personality, I'm sure they did a lot of fun stuff.
I would imagine the gymnasts are probably nicer to each other than some of the other sports are when they give their teammates a hard time. Opening tumbling run, round up back handspring, full twisting double back, just a little bit short. Tumbling run. Round off back handspring, 2.5 twist to punch front. Very difficult combination.
This is going to be a very, very close meet.
Double twist to punch, layout, step out. You know, it's like I said, it's just easier to finish on floor than it is to finish on balance beam.
Stephanie McAllister. Well, we are down to the final 2 competitors. Marissa King will go on the beam for Florida. And Gail Mackey on the floor for Utah.
Now that was neat. That was a front aerial to 2 feet. I have never seen that done before. She had just a slight wobble on the landing. Really difficult to get that back leg to catch up to the front leg. Handspring step out, layout to 2 feet. The step backwards isn't really a deduction in and of itself. She had maybe a 1/2 tenth in balance. Another front aerial.
I've been impressed with Florida's power, their agility, and their lines. They are solid in all 4 events.
Yes, they're very clean. Round off, double twist, and a hop on landing. You know, it's interesting. They were more solid on their vaults and their bar landings than they have been on beam so far.
Next up on floor for Utah, Gail Mackey.
The final competitor of the night, senior Gail Mackey here on senior night. And would she love to end this night with a career routine on the floor?
Her high so far is a 9.875, and there's a pike double back. Right back to a double twist.
Expressive dance routine.
Really fun dance. Yeah, she's just, you know, and it needs to be because it's really strong music. But she is a performer. Certainly handle it. Twist, a front layout, a little bit sloppy on the layout. Yeah, I mean, she pulled it around. It wasn't quite as high as it needed to be. She arched really hard in order to shorten her body to make it, but she made it. and a really great landing.
Nice job by
I
Gail
love
Mackey.
that routine.
The senior gets a standing ovation from 15,558 fans here at the Huntsman Center. Great routine by Gail Mackey. We'll be back with the final numbers right after this. Welcome back to the Huntsman Center, everyone. We are joined now by Utah head coach Megan Marsden. And Megan, this was a terrific meet here tonight. Unfortunately, Florida edged Utah 196.975 to 196.750. This is a terrific Florida team.
It is. You know, there's a reason why they're ranked number one, and it was quite a night tonight for both teams in terms of great performances.
Are you happy with the way Utah performed here tonight? A couple of small breaks here and there.
Yes, you know, we're a little depleted. We didn't have Corey Lothrop in our lineup in the all-around. She's been strong for us all year. I'm really proud of some of the kids that had to step in. They did last week and this week. To me, that means that we've got a little depth to work with, and that's good for the postseason.
And senior night is always an emotional night here at the Huntsman Center.
It is. We still have some season left, but this was the night that those girls had to say goodbye to these fantastic fans, and it's something that they come to this program for, and as they head out, they can't imagine going without that anymore.
And talk about the fans, 15,558 tonight.
I know. It's so much fun to have so many people that embrace our program. Greg and I really appreciate the community being so supportive.
This is the last home meet of the year, but it's not the last meet of the year. 2 more road meets. You've got Oregon State coming up, and then the trip down to Provo to take on BYU. What are the goals for the rest of the season before you get to regionals and then nationals?
Well, we're going to continue to work with being on the road, which, you know, it's always fun right here, but we want to continue to be really sharp with our routines when we're on someone else's floor. And we'll also begin to prepare for postseason. We won't get to be quite as casual on the competitive floor, cheering each other on and stuff. A lot of times in postseason, they put you a little bit away from the event. So we need to help these freshmen prepare for that because it's a little different than the regular season.
And what's the medical report for the end of the season? Are we going to have a lot of some of the people back?
Well, we think so because nobody at this point has been determined to have an injury that's season ending. And so those girls are working hard, and our trainer, of course, is working hard. And we hope to fill some people back in a little bit and maybe get a little more strength at the end.
All right, Megan, congratulations. A great meeting here tonight. Florida wins, but you guys looked impressive. We've got Oregon State coming up, then BYU, then regionals, and then nationals in Cleveland, Ohio this year.
Yes, yes.
All right, good luck.
We're going to take it 1 week at a time.
There you go. Congratulations to the University of Utah and to Florida. Thanks for watching, everyone, and good luck to the Utes the remainder of the year. Nationals coming up in Cleveland in mid-April, and I'm sure Utah will do well there.
Thank you. We hope so.
All right, thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching, everybody. Good night.